What happens if you marry a citizen? So let's say that you marry a Canadian citizen. What happens? For somebody that marries a Canadian citizen, what that gives you is that by marriage, by virtue of the marriage, you can now apply to become a permanent resident. However, from your journey from permanent residency to citizenship, everybody must do their time. So it means that you also have to do your 3 years, be a permanent resident for 3 years before you can qualify for citizenship. So being married to a Canadian doesn't necessarily make your journey easier. So that is the point that I'm trying to make here. My name is Zino Ojobo. I am a 4th year PhD candidate. So I'm in my final year, supposed to be rounding up my PhD. And I came into Canada in 2017 as an international student to do my master's on full scholarship. So I've been here in Canada since 2017. I started off as an international student. Then I transitioned to become a PR, skipping the postgraduate work permit step. I never applied for postgraduate work permits. I never got a postgraduate work permit. So I skipped that step. I went from international student, I became a permanent resident, and I'm in the process of getting my citizenship. So that is who I am. As a result of my experience, I also double as an educational consultant where I teach international students how to secure admission, scholarships, loans, to relocate abroad alone or with their family. So today I posted and I talked about, today I made a post about my transition process, and a lot of people had questions about how is it possible for you to transition from international student to permanent resident, skipping the postgraduate work permit step, and how is it possible that in 5 years you're already at the verge of getting your citizenship. So I'm at the verge of getting my citizenship because I've done my citizenship exam. So what this means is that, in fact, even my friend got hers in 4 years. So today I came to explain to you the process. How did I do it and what did I do? I came to bear it all here to tell you what I did, because some people have certain misconceptions about my journey and my process. So today I came to share that, and people benefit, so you can share this live session with your contacts, share it on your page, on your story, so that other people can join. Invite somebody, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so back to the point. After I lost my job in 2016, when I was trying to relocate abroad, the first thing I did, because at that time, there are many of you that will tell me that, I don't want to study. At that time, I too was not interested in studying. I had no interest in going back to school at that time. So the first thing I did trying to relocate was to go and I wrote IELTS, did my WES evaluation, so my certificate evaluation, and I entered the Federal Express Entry Pool. So if you're familiar with the Federal Express Entry Pool, for those people for the benefit of those that don't know about it, so for those that are not familiar with the Federal Express Entry process, it's a points-based process where you join a pool, and every month they would do a draw, and they will have like a cutoff point, and then the people that get points above the cutoff point, they will be sent an invitation to apply. So when I did that, I joined the Federal Express Entry Pool. My points were low, like 380 something. So because my points were low, and then the cutoff points that they were inviting at that time were over 400. So it seemed like I had no hope going via the Federal Express Entry process to become a permanent resident. So since that wasn't working out, you guys know me, I move fast. I quickly went to the next best thing, which was the study pathway. However, remember, I said I was in the Express Entry Pool. And I said that the Express Entry Pool uses point-based system. And to get these points, what they look at is your education, your language test, and some other things. At this time, I had only my bachelor's degree. So I decided to come to school via the study pathway. After going through all the rigors of trying to heartbreak of getting admission without scholarship, all those things that I did, the most important thing is that I finally, University of Waterloo said a yes to me, and I came as an international student to do my master's degree. Remember, I was still in the express entry pool. Don't forget that. So normally for most international students, the way it works is that they go from international students. When they finish school, they apply for a postgraduate work permit and get between 1 to 3 years. Then using that, they now apply through the Canadian experience class, get PR before they become citizens. So international students to postgraduate work permit to permanent resident to citizenship, 4 steps. In my own case, because I was already in the express entry pool and my points were low, once I finished school, instead of applying to go and do applying for postgraduate work permits, I went back to that my express entry profile and updated my profile with my new Canadian degree and my master's degree. So I got points from 2 places. Having a Canadian degree and having a master's degree, my points now went up from 300 and something to 505. This was in March of 2018. No, in March of 2019. So January of 2019, because that's when I completed my master's. So I did that and my points went up to 505. The next draw in February, they sent me an invitation to apply. At this time, I was considering whether I should do a PhD or whether I should go and work. So I decided to pursue a PhD. So I started my PhD in May. I started my PhD in May of 2019. And then 6 months later, around end of September, I got my permanent residence. So I did not have to apply for postgraduate work permits or any of those things because, like I said, I leveraged on my work experience that I had from Nigeria and entered the express entry pool, just that my points were low. So what did I need to increase my points? I needed an additional degree, which is a master's degree. But I was fortunate that also having a Canadian degree helps you increase your points as well. So using my Canadian degree, my points went up to 505, which I used to apply. So that was how I got my PR. So now, after getting my PR, normally, if you come to Canada as a permanent resident, you have to wait 3 years, do 3 years in the country before you can qualify to apply for citizenship. However, if you have gone to school as an international student in Canada, they would credit you 1 year. So it means that from the time you become a permanent resident, you need 2 years. You need to do 2 years in the country to qualify to apply for citizenship. So I got my permanent residency in 2019. Then I was due to apply for citizenship in 2021. If not that the whole Canadian process is very slow, I should have gotten my citizenship already. So when you apply for citizenship, they are going to, of course, you submit your application and they'll do the normal thing of looking at your profile and doing background checks and all that. And when they've done that and it's complete, then they now send you an invitation for you to come and take the citizenship test. You take that citizenship test. When you pass the test and you submit, then you just wait for them to call you for your swearing in ceremony, where you will now swear your oath of citizenship and they will give you your passport. So that is where I am now. That's why I said I've done my test and I'm now waiting for the last stage. So I've been able to achieve all of these in 5 years because I skipped that postgraduate work permit step. And this is how I skipped it. So somebody is asking me that, what is a Canadian degree? A Canadian degree is that you have gone to school in a Canadian university. So if you are in the express entry pool, when you update your degree, so now let's say I moved from bachelor's degree to master's degree, you get additional points for education because you get more points for master's degree than if you have only a bachelor's degree. So you get additional points. In addition to that, if you have a Canadian degree, they even give you more points. So it means that because I went to school in Canada, I got even more points. So that's how I went from around 384 to 505. And I was able to apply for citizenship. I was able to apply for my PR, and now I'm almost at the verge of getting my citizenship. So now some people may ask, because I'm saying this because I feel like a lot of people have the wrong conception, and I think that's why I've been getting certain messages I've been getting, which I don't want to discuss here. What happens if you marry a citizen? So let's say that you marry a Canadian citizen. What happens? For somebody that marries a Canadian citizen, what that gives you is that by marriage, by virtue of the marriage, you can now apply to become a permanent resident. However, from your journey from permanent residency to citizenship, everybody must do their time. So it means that you also have to do your 3 years, be a permanent resident for 3 years before you can qualify for citizenship. So being married to a Canadian doesn't necessarily make your journey easier. So that is the point that I'm trying to make here. So that was what I did, and that's why I said information is power. So some other persons now, they just assume that the pathway once you come as a student is for you to come as a student, do finish school, apply for postgraduate work permits, and move on. These people already have experience from home. They forget that there is that express entry pathway that you can use. When I was in my master's program, a lot of my friends did that too. Because when you come to a master's degree classroom, most of the students that are there are mature students, in the sense that a lot of them already have work experience from home already, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. They already have work experience from home already. That already qualifies them for the federal express entry. But people, because they are not aware, they don't take advantage of this. And so people, even they are scared. They'll tell you that can I do federal express entry at the same time as doing a study permit? Yes, you can. I did it. It doesn't affect, the two of them don't affect each other. So you can be in the express entry pool while you are doing your while you are applying through the study pathway to come. Because at the end of the day, all you want to do is to increase your points. If your points are low, increases. So now the federal express entry resumed again this year, and the points are so high. I think it's like right now it's like 525. That was the last cutoff points for people that received ITAs. So right now, even if you have all the degrees, you need to have additional things for you to be able to get there, for you to be able to get to 525. So it's so difficult. So that's why I tell people that if you need to do the study pathway, do it. But however, note this, all my friends or all the people that I know, my mentees, all of them that have come into Canada, once they land in Canada, the first thing I tell them, now what you need to do is for you to go and do your IELTS and go and do your WES, so that you can enter into the express entry pool. So that once you are finishing your Canadian degree, you have to just go in there, update it, and see yourself get invited to come and apply for PR. So everybody that I know that have come in, that's the next thing I tell them, you need to get into this pool. Because there are sometimes anything can happen in that express entry pool. I remember one time that somehow, I don't know what happened, but some people got their PR there when they decided to invite international students that are in Canada but are also in the express entry pool. So really, you don't know what happens. So I tell people that just be in the pool. Always be in the express entry pool, especially if you are an international student, because the opportunity may be there and you miss it. When they did that thing, then a lot of people missed it because they were not in the pool. So it's people that are already there that will get this invitation when something happens. But however, if you don't have this information, like imagine if I did not know anything about the federal express entry process and I just come, it has already wired and stuck in my brain. Because a lot of people don't think flexibility. It's wired and stuck in my brain that my process is going to be these 4 steps. International students to postgraduate work permits to PR to citizenship. If I had that, if I did not have the knowledge, even though I had already qualified to apply for a permanent residency straight by jumping that postgraduate work permit step, If I didn't have the information, I wouldn't have known. I would have still made my process long. By the end of the day, you want to shorten it so that you can finally relax in this country and know that, okay, you don't have anything that you are chasing anymore. Because as an immigrant, you're always chasing one thing or the other. Until you get your citizenship, that's when you are now settled that, okay, there's nothing else that you are chasing here. So, this is why it is very important for us to know all of these steps. And this is why I tell you guys, in this relocation process, you need to get knowledge. And I'm going to say another thing for those of us that are using agents. I know you guys will say I talk about these agents too much. So let me tell you something. So now, when you apply to come as an international student, let's say you apply for study permits and you get your study permits. From study permits, let's now assume that you want to go and create an express entry profile, or you want to apply for postgraduate work permit when you are finished school. Do you know that it is that same account that you are going to use to do all of your application? There are some people that when they come here, they don't have access to their account, to their online application account. Why? Because it's the agent that has it. Agent did not give them password. They don't know the username. They don't know password. They don't know anything. Because this journey, you will continue to use the same account to apply for all of these things that I have listed. So when you leave everything in the hands of your agent, once you get here, you are lost and you are confused. Where do I start from? How do I even log into my account to even create any profile? It is very dangerous. Some people have been stuck like that. So maybe you now have to go and duplicate profile and face all the troubles that comes with duplicating a profile. So at the end of the day, you need to know what is going on with your application, what is going on with your account, because you, no matter who is representing you to do your application, your profile, whatever you submit, everything is your responsibility. If there's any problem that comes as a result of what somebody has done, IRCC or Immigration Canada will not go and look for these agents. You know what they will look for? Your guess is as good as mine. You. So be careful. This relocation journey is very important and you need to follow it through. Even if anybody is helping you, make sure that you are putting your eyes down to see what they are doing. Have your passwords. Have everything. Some people will even hold it to hold you hostage, just so that anytime you want to do something, you will come and meet them so that they can make money from it. It's one of my friends. We did our masters together. So this my friend, as I was saying, when he was coming to Canada, he used an agent. He didn't have the account information or anything. When he went to apply for a postgraduate work permit, he went back to the same agent. The agent did the application, but this time there was a mistake in the application. He was stuck. So he had to call immigration to correct it, do whatever he had to do, but he had to follow up. And for every time he called, of course, they will ask you some questions for them to prove that they are dealing with the right person. But he didn't know the answers to this question. Agent, come and give me my details. Agent did not want to give him his details because agent wanted to continue to do these applications for him so that he can continue to make money. So this person was stuck between him and Immigration Canada and the agent. It took him a while for him to resolve this problem, which he did not have to do. And in the process, he almost went out of status. So this is why I tell you guys that it's important you protect yourself, protect your information, protect your account. Make sure that you have all the information that you need, because it is you that they are going to ask. And your relocation journey is too important for you to put in the hands of somebody else and just look away, no matter how much you trust that person. Let's even say that this person is very good. It's reliable. If something happens to that person, what will you do? Zainab, what don't you understand? Say, I don't understand the part you talked about the postgraduate work permit and getting a PR. What is it that you don't understand there? If you can ask specific questions, then it will be easy for me to answer it. Chari says, Wes has evaluated my first and second degree. If I get a Canadian degree, will it impact my score? Yes, it will impact your score, Chari. I know what happens to someone who is over 40 who taking the same route you took. apply. So when it comes to the Federal Express entry, age is a factor. Age is another factor. And when it comes to age being a factor, I think after you turn 30, I think so, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. For every year after you turn 30, you lose 5 points. So it means that, let's assume that somebody that is 30 years has 400 points. You that is 40 years with the same degree, the same work experience, the same category, like you guys have fall in the same category. The only thing that differentiates you people is your age. You will have 350 points because you lose 10 years. You lose 50 points for the 10 years difference. So that's what makes a difference. So now it's going to impact your score if you get a Canadian degree and update it. You get a higher education, like you get a master's degree or a PhD, whichever one, and you update it. However, your age is still a factor. So if your age drops your points such that you still don't get to, so that you are still not up to the cutoff point, then you will now have to go the route of the postgraduate work permit. You get postgraduate work permit and then you work in Canada, and you use, after you work for 1 year, full time for 1 year, you can now apply via a pathway called Canadian Experience Class. So you update your profile again now and add that you have Canadian work experience. It will now give you extra points. So that way you can now apply for PR. I hope that this answers your question, Chido Black. So if because of your age, your points are so low, then you need to get Canadian work experience to boost your points. And that's where you can now get it. Some people too, when you get a job, when you also get a job, so you update that you have a job in Canada, it will boost your points. So these are things that can boost your points while you are in the express entry pool. And it's easier for you to get all this is when you are inside of Canada. It's easier for you to get a job when you're in Canada than when you're outside of Canada. So this is why I tell people that, okay, if the express entry pathway is not working for you, just quickly go the student route. So when I was doing the express entry pathway, I did it with one of my friends. And because she had a master's degree, which I didn't have, so her points were high enough and she got an invitation to apply for PR. So when I noticed that my points were not high enough and doing nothing would not help me, I decided to go another route, which is the school route. So this is my friend that went through the PR pathway, and me that decided to go via the school pathway. We landed in Canada at about the same time. Sometimes I stay back and I think about it, that what would have happened? What would have happened to me if at that time I decided to do nothing? I would have just stayed there. The express entry drop points has never dropped to that 384 since 2016 that I was in that pool. It has never dropped that low. So if I was just waiting there, nothing would have happened. I would have never received an invitation to apply. I would not be able to come to Canada, nothing. Except I decided to go through another pathway, which is what I did. So this is why I tell us that it's important for us to be able to pivot. Important for us to be able to move. When I say move, you are not a tree. It is important when you see that, when you have analyzed something and you have seen that this thing will not work for you, sitting inside that express entry pool will not make a difference. If you like, sit in the express entry pool for 10 years. If something does not miraculously happen that they drop the points, which in most cases doesn't happen when they drop the point for it to be ridiculously low, in most cases it doesn't happen, then you will not be able to do anything. However, I am a forward-thinking person. When I want to do something, I think, how can I? I would not stay there complaining that, oh God, why are my points so low? What would I have done? What this, what that? I would not stay there thinking. I'll think, how can I? And I'll normally take the path of least resistance. I'll give you an example of the way I would have been able to boost my points. Let's assume I did not want to come to study in Canada. I would have decided to do a master's degree in Nigeria. Maybe to update it, to up my points a bit. I would decide, okay, maybe I should go and learn French and write French exam to up my points a bit. Was I ready to do all of these things in Nigeria? No. My other option was for me to, okay, maybe Canada is a better place for me with better opportunities. How about I go to Canada to go and do these things? So I said, okay, since a master's degree is the next thing to do to help my points, then I can as well go and do the master's degree in Canada. So that was how I thought about it, and that was how I made the decision to go via the study pathway. So at the end of the day, you need to analyze these things. For you to be able to analyze it, you need to get knowledge. I knew a lot about relocating to Canada, the express entry pathway, provincial nomination pathway, trying to get a job, whatever. I had all the knowledge, so it was easy for me to make a decision and know that, okay, this is not working, I need to move. Or I need to update my points by getting a master's degree. I don't want to get this master's degree in Nigeria because I don't want to be in Nigeria past 1 year. I can as well go and get the master's degree in Canada and double my points 2 ways, Canadian degree and a master's degree. So I did that, and when I decided that I was going to do that, of course, everybody's faced with the next problem. How do I fund it? Like many of us at that time, I didn't have money. In fact, when I lost my job in Nigeria, in my bank account, I had the money I had was only able to pay our air tickets. So how do I fund it? I was faced with that question that many of you had. And I looked for answers. And the answer was scholarship. I'm not going into the details of the rigors of how I struggled before I was able to get the scholarship. But I'm going to tell you that, see, it wasn't easy. Especially since I didn't even have anybody that was supporting me or anybody to ask questions, to tell me what to do or what not to do or how to approach it. I didn't have that. So it wasn't easy, but I had to find a way. And like I tell us, all we need in this journey is just 1 year. Another thing I had to do again was pulling my child with me, bringing my child with me, who, for most of you that are applying, you know, or you may have heard that it's easy to use your family as proof of family ties. But there was no way I was going to leave my 2-year-old in Nigeria. I just couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't even imagine it, not talk of doing it. We were either going, me and Somto, it seems like we are attached at the hips. We are either going together or none of us were going. There was no way I was going to leave that child there. So coming up with ideas again to think about it, okay, how can I show proof of ties without leaving my child here? That was another hurdle I had to cross. But again, like I said, I am a forward-thinking person. I think, how can I is what I think. I don't sit there and complain and whine, I cry, and behave like the whole world has fallen on top of my shoulders. If that is how you approach things, I am not judging you. But the only thing I will tell you is that even after you have done that, you need to also think about how you can come out of the situation. Because if all you do is complain and cry and whine, and that's all you do, then you continue to do that and nothing will change. But if after you have done that, you begin to think about the options, okay, what can I do to get out of this situation? What can I do to change this situation? Then that's when you begin to have ideas for you to change it, and that's only when you can change the situation. Anyways, this is how I was able to skip the postgraduate work permit step to become a permanent resident. And because of people, I think I should make a YouTube video, because people ask me this question a lot. I should make a YouTube video so I can just share the link with them to go and watch, so that they can learn how to do it. But however, you need to understand how the immigration pathways work for you to be able to do this successfully. If you don't understand how the immigration pathway works, then you'll be running from pillar to post and be relying on what people say and what people don't say. Like a lady told me today that her Canadian visa was denied, and it's because that people told her it's because she's 45 years old and she's not married. I'm like, this is not a reason why your Canadian visa should be denied. She's like, yeah, but people told me that. I'm like, you're not listening to me. What you're talking about is discrimination. Nobody will discriminate against you because you are 45 years old and not married and deny you visa. People would say anything that they like to say, but it does not mean that it is true. So imagine that now they have told this lady this thing. Will she want to try again? No. I told her, this is what I'm going to tell you. Go and order a GCMS note. It's going to tell you the exact reason why your visa was denied. Fix those reasons and you can apply. There's no way you tell me that because you are 45 years old and you are unmarried and you don't have children, that's why they denied you a visa. So that's why it's important for us to be able to know this thing, so that you can filter out what people are telling you. A lot of people that say this thing, they don't even have the information. They say it from a place of ignorance. But if you know, then you'll be able to filter the information that you should collect and the one that you should not collect. At the end of the day, you need to apply wisdom last in this jackpot journey. Otherwise, you will be there doing the wrong thing, or sitting there idle, or making assumptions and limiting yourself because somebody has told you one thing or the other that is not correct. So somebody's humble, he says, I did IELTS in December 2020. Can I still use the result to apply for express entry? Yes, but however, IELTS is only valid for 2 years. So it means that by December of 2022, your IELTS would have expired. So when it comes to IELTS, there are two types of IELTS. There's IELTS Academic and IELTS General. If you are applying for anything immigration related, so now you want to join the express entry pool or whatever immigration related, you need IELTS General. But if you are going to school, so it's your school that's asking for IELTS, you need IELTS Academic. So for you, in your case now, you need IELTS General for you to be able to get in the pool. So yes, you can still use that, but know that it's going to expire in December because IELTS expires. IELTS is only valid for 2 years. Okay, Akinyo to say, so what was your response when you were asked as regards leaving your child here and family ties? I don't understand. Okay, so that's a good question. So when it comes to ties, there are two types of ties. Ties is ties. It doesn't have to be family. So there are two types of ties. There are family ties and there are economic ties. As long as you are able to show one of them to your home country, you can use that to apply. So nobody asked me because I didn't do an interview. For Canada, you just submit your application. But this is what I did. After I lost my job in 2016, between that time in 2016 to when I left for Canada in 2017, I was running a business in Nigeria. So my sister in the UK used to send some baby safety products and I used to sell them. However, the business was not registered. So once I knew that I wanted to relocate, I went ahead and registered that business. While I was running the business, I had a store. I had an online store in Konga and Jumia where people used to order. In fact, that's how I got most of my customers. At the same time, I used to so as an engineer too, safety, as an engineer that used to work in the field, I used to work in oil and gas fields. So safety was paramount to us. So after I lost my job, I started teaching child safety, so safety in the home. So I'll go to hospitals and clinics on their antenatal day to talk to mothers there about the safety of their homes. Mostly I used to go to the local hospitals where you have like all those local hospitals or local community centers where it's the wives of security men and all that come, people that are not really able to afford much, because it's those people that really need childcare, because you see that child safety, because you see that a lot of them, their children get hurt. Then online, I used to sell my products and install them, like safety gates, corner cushions to protect edges of your baby. Okay, anyways, let's not get into that details. I don't want to digress. So that's what I was doing. So just for me to be able to prove ties, I went ahead and I registered this company. And when I was doing my business, I had to now start creating invoices for my customers just to show proof. So I did all of that. When it was time to apply for my visa application, that was what I used as my proof of ties in home country. So I did a printout of my store on Jumia and on Konga, put my CAC document there, put some pictures of me teaching whatever that I used to teach. So I put all of those documents together. And that's what I use as proof of ties. And I wrote a letter to support it that, yeah, this is what I've been doing. This is my business. It's still active, online. I still have goods. When I left Nigeria, I still had goods. And that my mother is going to be taking care of this business in my absence until I finish my program and come back. So that was how I was able to show proof of ties. So again, there are different ways to show proof of ties. Some people have used businesses, landed property, investments, job offers, that your job is waiting for you. When you come back, you're going to continue your job. So there are different ways to show proof of ties if you are uprooting your family. This is the way some people, husband, wife, children, all of them have gone and applied at the same time and they've gotten their visa because they're able to show proof of economic ties. But however, if you don't have these economic ties to show, that's where you are now left with the option of leaving some members of your family at home, which is what some people do, and which is the only proof of ties that most people know. That's why they tell you that, oh, if you move with your family, you will not get visa. But people are getting the visas every day with their family. How are they getting it? Because they are able to show other kind of ties. So Maple says, what if the business is an online kind of thing, say Instagram stuff? If your business is an online business, it doesn't mean that you cannot register the business. You can, like I said, my business was also online on Jumia and Konga, but I had registration for it. I did invoices. So at the end of the day, if you know that you want to use this business as proof of ties, you need to be able to show proof of the business. So that's what, when I talk about forward thinking now, this is what I talk about. So now you have an online business. What are ways I can show proof to the immigration officer that I have this business, aside from telling them to come on Instagram? Anybody can create an Instagram profile and I'm saying that this is my business. But what are ways to show that this my business is operational, and that if I'm going to leave this business, I'm going to come back to it? That is how you should now start thinking. So what do? Go and register your business. Your customers, give them invoices. Have a business account where people make payments to and they see that transaction is going in and out of that business account. That's what you can do. Even online business, it doesn't mean that you should not register the business. While in the pool, can my husband's Canadian degree impact my score? So, if you are in the pool and it's your husband that has Canadian degree, I would say that your husband should be the principal applicant. Because a spouse's education will only add a little points to you. Whereas if the spouse is the principal applicant, then he will get more points. So your husband should be the principal applicant while you go under him as a dependent. That is what I would say. So it means that your husband has to go and do IELTS and do his West too. Anyways, I planned that this live session will be short, but anytime I come live, I don't know why the live session goes on and on and on. It seems like I talk more than I planned to. So I'm going to answer this last question from QT247. Can someone that is working now use his job as proof of ties? Yes. So you can use your job as proof of ties. You just need to get a letter from your employer saying that your job, maybe you are going like on study leave, and then you're going to come back to your job. So like your job is waiting for you. So you need to get a letter from your employer saying that, then you can use your job as proof of ties. Some people have even used the hope of a job or the promise of a job to do proof of ties too. So yes, you can use that, but make sure that you get, at the end of the day, anything that you are claiming, when it comes to visa application, anything that you are claiming, just have proof. That's why some people will come and tell you that, I don't know why they denied me my visa. They say they denied me on financial grounds, but my account was funded. I'm going to tell you why they deny you, even if your account was funded. So you submit bank statement, even if you have put the money in the bank account for 6 months. So let's say for the entire 6 months, the money that you want to use, let's assume that is 10 million that you need to show as proof of funds. I'm just assuming these figures, please. I'm not saying that that's what you need. So let's assume that you need 10 million naira, and you put the 10 million naira in your bank account, and you leave it there for 6 months, and you come back to use that bank account as proof of funds. You did not show them the source of the money. This is why they deny you, even if you had the money. So this is why they deny you. So if you have that kind of money in your bank account, you need to show how that money came about. Is it from salary? Is it from business? Is it from sale of property? So if it is from salary, and you say that you have saved this money over X number of years, you need to attach your pay slip to it. If you say that it is from a sale of property, what is the proof that you had this property? So what is the proof that you had this property, you sold this property, and you got money from the property? I'm going to tell you. Whatever you had as your proof of property before, let's say it's a landed property, the documents, the sale of the property invoice, maybe you have legal documents, survey, whatever it is that they do when they sell the property, you have that. The fact, the proof that the money came into your bank account, you have the proof. Invoice matches the money that came into your bank account. That's proof. But what I see that most people, they just go and put the money into the account and just wait. Some people have gotten lucky with it, but it doesn't happen every time. And they will just wait, and then they will deny them. They'll say, oh, but my account was funded. Where did the money come from? Let me tell you guys something. When I was applying for my permanent residency, I also needed to show proof of funds. And at that time, my company in Nigeria, when I lost my job in Nigeria, union was fighting company and all that. So my payoff did not come until like almost 2 years. So it was that money I used to apply for my proof of fund. However, the money just hits my account. You know how it is when money hits your account and you use that money to go and apply for proof of funds for visa. It's just forget it, they will just deny you. Because the money just came into my account and it was a bulk sum of money and I used that. So I didn't build the money or anything. Bulk sum, I used it. What did I do to show that this money, I did not just go and borrow it to show proof of funds? My severance letter, I put it there. On the severance letter, they have calculated how much they were going to pay me, what my payout would be. I put it there. There was a scanned copy of the check. I was in Nigeria. I was supposed to pick up a check, but I couldn't go. I had to send somebody. So I have a scanned copy of that check. Then when they paid the check into my bank account, I had the proof, my bank statement of that amount. All of these amounts on the severance letter, the amount on the severance letter matched the amount on the check, matched the amounts that came into my bank account. I highlighted all of this to the visa officer. I did not wait for them to come and think it and let this person put it together and figure it out. No, I explained it. I used highlighting pen, highlighted it everywhere before I scanned it. Numbered the page so that when I'm explaining in my letter, I would say refer to page this. The highlighted in yellow. That's how I write this thing. So anybody that reads it, I've made the work easy for you. You just go to page 6 and look at the highlighted part. It's because sometimes these people that even do this that review your visa applications to approve you, they are human beings too. Sometimes they are in a bad mood. They are sometimes in a bad mood. It also affects the outcome of visa applications. But at the end of the day, when you have done your due diligence, there's nobody that will deny you. They won't deny it. It's just that some people don't know all of this, and some people leave it in the hands of agents. Agents will use wrong documents. I tell them that agents will not do your application as good as you. There's this lady that worked with me for her visa application. By the way, I don't do visa applications for anybody. The people that I support are the people that have attended my masterclass. When they come to meet me, I've gotten admission. It's time for me to apply for the visa. I just support them. I tell them what to do because I understand how this thing works. So I tell them what to do. Give them sample study plan. Write your study plan. Send it back to me. Let me review it. And I make sure that they have explained everything. When she explained her own, I looked at it and this your study plan is perfect, but maybe we can tweak a few things here and there and make sure that everything is explained. They granted she and her 3 children the visa. By the end of the day, you just need to, anything that you are saying, I tell people with visa application, you can get away with anything, but as long as you have proof to back it up, you are good to go. But that is where a lot of people miss it. Agents will use wrong documents. Agents will not use the right documents. An agent cannot tell your story the way you tell the story. Just imagine like this story that I told you about how I explained everything about my work and how the money came and all that and how I highlighted everything. You think an agent has the time to do that? They won't do it. They are too busy and they are not invested in this thing like I am. So they won't do it. Conqueror of Canada, what are you saying? What's your question? Can an undergraduate degree of 4 years course apply for PR before the 4 years expiration? Or does he need... Your question is not complete, but I think that I get what you're trying to say. So, for you to even enter the express entry pool at all, one of the requirements is that you have at least 1 year of work experience. And the higher the number of years of work experience, up to a maximum of 3 years, the higher your points. So if they have 1 year, 2 years, for 1 year you get a lower point than you get if you have 2 years, than you get if you have 3 years. But 3 years and above is the same point. So at least, so this person, if this person wants to do that, the person needs to at least have some work experience from home before that he can prove, because you're going to get a letter from your employer to prove that's your work experience. So yes, the person can do it, but the person should at least have work experience for him to be able to do that. Otherwise, the undergraduate will also go through the undergraduate postgraduate work permit before applying for PR. Okoge Winifred says, is West evaluation of degree result compulsory? It is not compulsory for the study pathway, but if you are applying through the express entry profile, it is compulsory. However, if you have a Canadian degree, so for those people that will come to Canada before they even enter the express entry pool at all, if you have a Canadian degree, you don't need to do WES. You don't even need to do WES of your previous degrees as long as you have a Canadian degree, because you get all your transcripts and everything from Canada, so you don't need to do WES if you have a Canadian degree. But if you don't have a Canadian degree, it is compulsory that you do WES. Yes, for you to do express entry, there are two things that are compulsory: WES and IELTS. You will, even if you are inside Canada already, I still have to do IELTS even if you are inside of Canada, you're applying from inside of Canada, you must do IELTS. IELTS is compulsory. For you to be able to apply for PR in Canada, no matter the pathway that you are taking, IELTS is compulsory. Is it true we always have to do a PGD before Masters? Olga Paula, I don't know where you heard that information from. But it's not true that you always have to do a PGD before Masters. So if you are applying to come to Canada and you have HND, yes, you need to do a PGD. If you have a bachelor's degree, you can do Masters. I never did a PGD, so like I said, there's no hard and fast rule to this thing. When people are telling you things, you need to learn to start asking them why. So you don't need to do a PGD before you do Masters. So I don't know where that information came from, but it's not correct. Okay, so guys, I've answered all the questions that are here, and in today's video I explained how I transitioned from an international student to permanent resident, skipping and I also talked about how I've been able to get up to the point where I'm almost getting my citizenship all in 5 years, and that's how I was able to do that, because I skipped the postgraduate work permit part. And Sassy J is saying that I learned we can do CELPIP instead of IELTS. So you can either do CELPIP or IELTS. IELTS is British, CELPIP is Canadian. So yes, you can do CELPIP or IELTS. Before, CELPIP was only available in Canada, but now I hear that they are now available outside of Canada. So that's why CELPIP was not so popular, because you have to be in Canada to be able to do CELPIP. But I heard in recent times that you cannot do CELPIP outside of Canada. So yes, you can do CELPIP. Princess Ijaga says, I'm in Brampton. What of somebody who is coming in for master's degree? What about them? I don't understand your question. Okay, so we also established today that the study pathway is a sure pathway to permanent residency in Canada. At least you guys can see that I used the study pathway when the whole federal express entry wasn't working for me. I used the study pathway, which landed me in the same place, where I was able to get my permanent residency. So now that we know that the study pathway is, and with everything that I've done today, I believe that some of you are able to evaluate yourself for you to know that, okay, what can I do and what can I not do? Especially when you're over 30 years, it now becomes a challenge because your points will be low. So, that being said, if you want to relocate abroad via the study pathway, like, there are so many opportunities. There are funding opportunities, there are loans, there are low tuition schools, there are cheap tuition schools. You can do that rather than staying there and doing nothing, or just remain the express entry pool so that your IELTS keep expiring every 2 years. And that is what I teach. I teach people how I did it and how I succeeded. That is what I teach. The next study abroad masterclass, where you're going to learn the step-by-step methods on how to secure admission, scholarship, and or loans to relocate abroad. You will get the tools that you need. You learn how to draft your documents properly. You get document review. You get templates. You will get, some people are not able to do their document just because they don't know what it should be. So you get templates. You get samples. You get expert review of your document, just so that when you are shooting your shot and when you are doing your application, you are able to nail it once. So all of this, you get all of this in a 30 days masterclass. And why is masterclass for 30 days? It's just because it's a step-by-step masterclass. Some people, even within the masterclass, they are able to secure funding because they're done with you. We do it with you in the masterclass and make sure that you are doing it. And it's easy for you to build a habit in 30 days so that it now becomes part of you, such that even after the masterclass is over, you can still continue your application independently. Now, with my support, even if we are not still in the masterclass, but at least now when I tell you do this, you know what to do. When I say send an email for a waiver, you know how to send an email for a waiver. So this is something that you can do. Right now, a lot of professors are hiring for 2023. This is when they have the funding. I was saying this yesterday. This is why some of you, when you send professors emails, you wonder why they're always telling you that they are not hiring students, or they don't have money anymore or something. It's because you are coming late when they are finished giving the money to the students that they want to hire. So the timing is very important. That's why I made that post, that the people that we secure funding, they are applying now. Why people that will not are doing nothing? Because why you are saying that, you know what, I will start next year, they are finished giving the funding. All the money is gone. These people like to do these things early. The process of admission takes time, especially when you are trying to get funding with it. It takes time. So it's like some professors want to see you, they want to interview you, they want to get to know you. So it takes a while. So while you are here saying you do it next year, they would have finished the money. Then when you're now emailing them next year, they'll tell you they don't have funding anymore. That's the reason why. So now is the time. Now they have money. They are allocating the money to the students that they are going to work with next year. So the people that I'm posting their testimonials now, they started last year. So it's important that you take action now and not wait till the future, because then that's when the money will finish and be like, why is my case always different? You need to align yourself with the right time. It's very important. Even if you have everything that the professor wants and your timing is wrong, you still will not get it. So you need to align yourself with the right time. And this is what I tell people. For you to be able to secure these things, make sure that you are aligning yourself with the right timing too. Anyways, the deadline to join the master class is on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. or when the slot sells out. The slots are limited. So if you want to join, start by clicking the link in my bio, watch the free training, and then you send me a DM. If you have watched the free training before, just send me a DM and I would respond to you. So until you send me a DM, I wish you the very best of the rest of your journey. And I wish you all a good evening or good night or a good rest of the day, wherever you are joining me from. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Take care.